What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the College Football Show with me, WillND, and my pal Jeffrey from Only Talk Sports. There are some teams that disappointed this week, but there's some surprise upsets. But yeah, it's definitely an interesting week for sure, in the ACC especially.
Absolutely, and definitely excited to do the show tonight. We usually been doing it on Tuesday, but doing it on Monday this time. Got a lot of stuff going on tomorrow. Going to have the Indiana show at 7 o'clock at the Voice of College Football. And then I'm going to be on the Michigan channel as well to talk about the Indiana game at 9 o'clock at the Voice of College Football. So going to be tons of fun tomorrow. So tonight, me and Will doing the show tonight. It's going to be a lot of fun. Like Will said, a lot of crazy results last week. Typical for the college football season this year. Has been a lot of upsets, and some teams just flat out played great, like Indiana. So definitely some good results as well. And Carolina, hey, we got to shout out Carolina. I know Florida State is bad, but hey, Carolina looking pretty good for once. So can't wait to get into the games though.
And I gotta put it on. And checking out the games this week. The Hokies with Schlee definitely missed drones against Syracuse, and Kyle McCord had a good bounce back game after his disaster against Pitt. So good for Kyle McCord to bounce back a bit.
Absolutely. This game right here was very frustrating if you're a Virginia Tech fan. I didn't see a lot of it, but I did see the tail end of the game. And Schlee, I think he was hobbling. I think he was banged up as well. But there was a play in overtime where if he had just took off and ran, I think he scores. I think he scores a touchdown. But instead, he threw it. It was incomplete. And then a couple plays later, he decides to take off and run. And then he ends up fumbling it. And then Syracuse ends up winning the game. So Virginia Tech, they blew the game. And they've had a couple of games this year. We all know that Miami game. That was sad. So Virginia Tech is a couple games away from actually having a really good season and would have been an ACC title contender. Instead, their coach for Virginia Tech on the hot seat or anything. I don't think he's in any trouble. But at the same time, Virginia Tech is kind of disappointing considering where they were kind of expected to be in the preseason. But, I mean, just a few close losses to Vandy, to Miami, to Syracuse is preventing them from having a much better year.
Will be interesting to see how they do next year with a bunch of players leaving. Big year for the Hokies next year. And for Oregon, hold and serve. The first quarter, Michigan kept it close, but then Oregon had that breakthrough second quarter.
This result was not surprising. I think everybody
this was about what we expected.
Everybody expected Oregon to win big. I mean, Michigan just doesn't have an offense, and their defense is starting to wear down. You can tell the longer the season's going along that Michigan's defense is not playing as well. And a lot of it has to do when you're on the field so much because your offense stinks, then you're going to get worn down. Plus, when you're losing and you're a team like Michigan that is coming off a national championship title win, and you're a historically really great program, a season like this is just terrible. So maybe some of the players could be tapping out a bit. I don't know if that's the case. We'll see how they play next week, but I do think that Michigan is definitely – they kind of realize they are what they are, and even the defensive players are like, nah, there's nothing we can do. We're playing better teams. We just suck. Our offense isn't great. And I mean, and compared to some teams like Florida State, Michigan doesn't suck, but compared to last year, they absolutely suck.
I mean, I feel like Warren played all right for them. I mean, if there's a positive there, I felt like he had one of his better games.
He's better than Jack Tuttle, but that's not saying a lot.
Yeah.
It's not saying a lot.
But yeah, good win for Oregon to just keep on rolling. Definitely look like the best team right now. But we'll see if they can get it done in the Big Ten Championship and in the playoff. A Carson Beck stinker kept Florida in this game, but eventually Georgia's talent won them the game. But, man, Georgia does not look like a national championship caliber team right now.
I will say I'm asking you, Will. I don't know if you thought it would have made a difference or not, but DJ Lagway got
Yeah,
hurt
I
in the
mean,
game.
maybe
Do you
Florida could have
think
actually won if
do
DJ
you
Lagway
think if
didn't get
he
hurt.
doesn't get hurt that they win? I think they had a 50-50
They had a
shot.
shot. I mean, I would have leaned Georgia, but like it would have been a heck of a lot closer than 34-20.
The sad thing about it is that honestly, Lagway might have actually been his ticket to save his job, Billy Napier's. And now that he's out, I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, the thing is, you can look at it on one hand and say, well, you know, you have a third string quarterback now. It's not your fault that our offense is going to stink again, and basically our team's going to stink. But really, like Billy Napier, we already knew he was running out of time, and they're probably going to start racking up losses now. But hey, I mean, when they had Lagway, they actually were competitive. They actually looked pretty good. I mean, they were beating Georgia. They were winning. They had a really good shot to win with Lagway. And when he went down, I was like, they're done. They're not going to win. And Georgia, we got Hummus Hero tonight. Appreciate you for being here, Hummus Hero. And then we also got Scotty B as well. Saying Georgia needs them, but definitely Georgia doesn't look focused at all. I think all the offseason issues are kind of getting to them and everything. They've had issues the last couple seasons, but it just doesn't look like this team is in tune and it's crisp to actually dominate on the football field. Because they got the talent, but they're not playing nowhere near as well as they've been in the past few years. So I don't know what's going on with them overall. I mean, they've had the offseason issues. It just seems like this group of guys just isn't as composed and as focused as some of those other teams that they've had.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if the Dogs can stay this number 2 next week. They have another good game. For Florida, you know they're going to beat Florida State, but can they make a bowl game at least this season? Maybe get a winning record with Billy Napier. I still don't think he's a great in-game coach. His in-game decisions sometimes just don't make sense, but
yeah,
we'll see if he can maybe stick it out.
I will tell you another game that went exactly how I expected it to go, like Oregon, Michigan, is this game. Ohio State, Penn State. You've got to be kidding me. It went exactly how I thought it was going to go. To be honest with you, Will, I think this game proves more about Ohio State than it does Penn State. I don't think Ohio State is a fantastic team this year. I don't. I do not think that is the case. We have seen multiple results now where Ohio State is not elite, right? That's all I have to say about Ohio State. They're still a darn good football team, and they're still going to make the playoffs, and they're still going to make a big impact this year. They should make the playoffs. It would be something crazy if they didn't. But they are not an elite team. I don't understand what Ohio State fans are looking at because they've been saying all year that they're just fantastic. Will Howard threw for 182 in this game. I understand that, oh, well, they dominated and all that, and they didn't let Penn State do anything. Well, Penn State never does anything, okay? Their offense is just boring. I mean, literally, Penn State scored 6 points in this game on offense. 6 points. It was a pick six is why they even had 13. So, yeah, Ohio State's defense was really, really good and all that. I'm not saying their defense isn't bad, but their offense is going to be a problem the rest of this season if it doesn't get better than this. It's not a great offense. Will Howard is not great. And
awful
the offense,
interception, pick six. Awful.
Yeah. I mean, Jeremiah Smith's a fantastic player, but if you can't get it to him, then it doesn't mean anything. I don't know. I think Ohio State's really good because they have tons of talent. I mean, they bought the team. So, yeah, I mean, they're good because they bought the team. But like most of everybody else is doing, but they bought the team, but they just don't look all that good. They don't. And they can still beat Indiana by 50 because I already know that's what everybody's talking about. I don't care about that game at all right now. All I'm saying is that if Ohio State was a really good football team, they would have beaten Nebraska by 20-plus points. They would have beaten Penn State by more than this. They should beat Indiana by 30. I understand why Indiana's having a great year, but Ohio State's so much more talented. But talent doesn't always matter if you're not playing well. Ohio State needs to get Will Howard to be more productive. They need to get him in a space where he can be way more productive because Ohio State has too much talent to be this average on offense. The thing is I don't think Penn State's a great football team, Hummus. That's
Penn
the problem.
State.
They're not. I mean,
They have not
saw
beaten
Penn State. We saw Penn
anyone,
State struggle
man.
all season long to do anything on offense. The only game that they did anything on offense was against USC. Penn State should have lost to USC, realistically. And against Illinois, Illinois is not great either, and they literally had to hang with them the entire time as well until the fourth. So sorry to interrupt, Will, but I don't think Penn State is that great either.
Like, I saw a playoff prediction that had Penn State going to South Bend in the playoff, and I'm like, yes, please give me Penn State at home in the playoff. So, I mean, it's just I don't think their offense will hold up against anyone in the playoff. Like
that's what I'm saying. You hit the nail on the head. That is exactly like I don't think that this is a team that has any chance to win a national championship if their offense stays like this. If it gets better, yeah, they can be a championship contender. Because honestly, when you look at all these teams in college football right now, everybody's saying that Oregon's the best team now. Ohio State lost to them by 1. All these teams are beatable. So I'm not saying Ohio State doesn't have a chance, but I'm saying that since that Oregon game, Ohio State has looked like crap compared to what they normally do.
And Oregon has looked better.
So that's the issue that Ohio State has right now. I'm not saying like defensively, Penn State, yeah, they're a good deep. Tom Allen, great for Tom Allen. But that was not an impressive performance by Ohio State. It was a really unimpressive performance by Penn State. I mean, that's why everybody's like, James Franklin needs to be fired. James Franklin is not getting fired. He is not. The only way James Franklin's going anywhere is if he leaves. Okay, he's not going anywhere.
You know who Penn State missed in this game? Well, Keandre Lambert-Smith. If they would have none of their wideouts are good, and Lambert-Smith is like the only bright spot for Auburn this season. If they had him, maybe they could have actually gotten an offensive touchdown.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Honestly, the problem for both of these teams is their offenses. Penn State, I said coming into this game, and why I picked the Buckeyes, I said, and we both said this, Will, that Penn State's offense was going to be the reason that they lost this game. Because I still didn't think that their offense was good enough. Everybody kept saying, oh, well, look what they did against USC. Look what they did against West Virginia. I don't care. West Virginia's not great. USC's not great. Don't care. So I'm like, I don't trust their offense. They laid an egg in this game. And when I'm looking at Ohio State, the more I'm seeing from them, they're not impressing me. Compared to C.J. Stroud, compared to even Justin Fields, this offense is significantly worse. Significantly worse. And that's going to be a problem if they want to be able to play.
I'll say this. I know we're
playoff game in the championship.
I'll say this, though, for Ohio State. I mean, that quarterback that they have coming in, St. Clair, I mean, I don't know if he's going to start as a freshman, but he looks like C.J. Stroud level. So St. Clair, once he comes in next, I don't know.
Absolutely. I mean, Ohio State's going to continue to be a train. Yeah. I mean, they're going to keep chugging down the track. They got so much money in NIL support. I mean, they're going to continue to win games based off that alone. Just this season with Will Howard, who I've said for 2 years now, I just don't think he's an elite guy. Their offense is just not great, especially for their standards. I mean, we're talking about Ohio State. We're talking about the Buckeyes, who have consistently had one of the best offenses in college football. I mean, they're a wide receiver university, along with Bama there for a while. So, I mean, they just aren't producing the offensive stats this year. And I agree on the O-line. I mean, their O-line's injured. I get that. I mean, that is making a difference, but.
I mean, Hummus, I'll give Will Howard his flowers if he wins a game for Ohio State. But for me, I just haven't seen it so far. But if he shows up in the playoffs like Stroud did, because C.J. Stroud, we were kind of giving him the same treatment that season, and then he did really well against Georgia. So if Will Howard shows up like CJ did, we'll give him his flowers. He just hasn't impressed us yet. He's beaten up on bad teams, and then he didn't have a bad game against Oregon, but the slide at the end was bad. And
the thing is you said literally yourself, Will, that Carson Beck had a stinker of a game. Will Howard threw for 182. I get it's on way significantly less attempts, But that's Ohio State's offensive game plan. They're not throwing the football very much. They're choosing to not throw the football very much. So,
well, Troy, we were praising Penn State.
Troy,
we were. Maybe other
everybody
people were.
Does this, no, Troy.
Maybe
Troy.
we were, Troy.
Everybody does this. Look at Indiana. Every single team that Indiana's beat this year, I've heard all season long, oh, if they beat UCLA, then we'll believe. Oh, if they beat Nebraska, then we'll believe. Oh, if they beat Michigan. Every time Indiana's beating those teams, oh, they suck. It's the same thing. So that's not a unique to Ohio State thing, Troy. I appreciate you being here, by the way. But trust me, Ohio State's not getting this subversive flack or whatever that no one else is getting. Oh, well, Ohio State beats Penn State and Penn State's. The thing is, I've said all season I didn't think Penn State was legit. So I think I have at least the I should be allowed basically to say that Penn State's not an elite team when I've said it all season long. Unlike other people that have said, "Oh, Penn State, they're fantastic. They're great. They're a top 5 team." They're not a top 5 team. What's Penn State done this season that's been anything of a top 5 team? They've beaten nobody either.
I was talked into by Joey WVU being good, so I did praise Penn State.
West Virginia sucks. USC sucks.
It turns out
Illinois is not very good either. So, I mean, that's the problem that Penn State has. They're not great. Mm-hmm. Everyone was picking Penn State to win. That right there is definitely a false statement.
We both picked
Ohio State. False statement. False. I'm sorry, Troy. I mean, you might have been reading on social media and everyone over there was picking it, but me and Will both picked Ohio State. And I know a lot of people on TV picked Ohio State. That's not true. Wasn't Ohio State favored?
I think they're favored by 3.5. I can look
so
at
that right there. I mean, I love you guys, Troy and Hummus here. Appreciate you guys always coming on. But that right there,
I was right. Ohio State
Buckeye bias right there. That is Buckeye bias. The Ohio State fans that are on that side of the fan base that kind of drum up these type of conversations way too much, which is why there's way too much drama with Michigan and Ohio State, even Alabama, Georgia, teams that win. I stay out of the Bama controversies. I don't like none of that junk. But that is subversion right there.
Well, Hummus, Indiana's murdered everyone they played. They've murdered everyone they played.
I mean, that's absolutely ridiculous.
Penn State barely beat Illinois, and they barely beat USC.
I mean, I love arguments like this. I mean, you remember Kirby Smart? Will, after one of the game, it was the Texas game. Oh, we beat Texas, and no one thought we could win. It's like, really, dude? Are you insane right now? You are absolutely gaslighting everybody in the country right now. Of course, that's not the case. Tons of people picked Georgia to win. Did we pick Texas or did we pick Georgia? I honestly can't remember.
I picked Texas, to be honest.
Yeah, I might have went with Texas too, but that didn't mean that, I didn't think Georgia could win. I mean, really? I mean, no, of course Georgia could win. But then he's going to say in the post-game presser that, we no one thought we could win. No one believed that. All that stuff is garbage. It's legitimately garbage. I don't know why. Coaches just do that and fans do it, but it's garbage. I mean, no. That would be like me as an Alabama fan saying, no one thought we could beat LSU. Nobody believed. Really? Alabama's favored to win. And, they've beaten LSU more times than not the past year. Now, if they win, I'll be like, wow, they won because they haven't been playing that well. But I will see what I pick in that game. I'm not saying it right now, but I'm just saying, the point that I feel is that a lot of fans of these really big teams get in their mind that everybody's against them, that no one believes in them, which is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I don't agree. I just don't agree. Ohio State was not an underdog in this game, and not everybody picked Penn State. More people picked Ohio State. They did what they were supposed to do. They just didn't look impressive. That's all I'm saying. They just did not look impressive. They're going to make the playoff. They're still a great team, but they're not going to have a shot to win a title unless Will Howard gets better. That's all I'm saying. I'm done with Ohio State on that. That's all I have to say.
Miami looked like they're going to lose to Duke, and then once again they did their thing.
Duke's not great. I've said that all year. I mean, literally, they could be 2-7 right now. They've had all 4 of their wins have come by 7 or less, and they've played bad teams. They're basically like Syracuse from when it was last year, or what year was it when they started out?
Was
It's
he
like
that
6.
last year or 2 years ago? I don't remember.
I think it might have been 2 years ago, but yeah, that Syracuse team started out 6-0, and then they played Clemson, and then everybody like, oh, they might have a shot, and then they got murdered. Yeah, Duke's kind of the same way. I mean, it's cool, Manny Diaz, keeping them okay. They're not a good team. They're not a good team. They're average at best.
Tennessee.
I still don't think Miami's legit either, by the way, but I'll leave it at that.
Man, I hope we get Miami. If we can beat, I saw a projection that said Notre Dame would play Penn State in the first round. And then if they would win, they would play Miami in the second round. I'm like, this was perfect for Notre Dame. I mean, Miami's not going to be easy. Penn State, I mean, the offense will have to. I think Notre Dame's offense is better than Penn State's, but we'll see if they actually play.
Notre Dame could beat Penn State and can beat Miami playing a B game, a B plus B or B minus. Like Notre Dame wouldn't even have to play extremely well to beat them because Penn State's not great. Penn State is a 8-4 type of team. If they were playing a really hard schedule, if Penn State was playing a really hard schedule, they'd be like 8-4 or 9-3. They don't have that hard of a schedule. And I will admit the exact same thing for Indiana.
Well, Hummus, I mean, have you watched the offense since the bye week? The offense came to life. Like, this is a completely different Notre Dame offense.
I love this comment right here. And I love Hummus, man, because I know he's trolling you hard, dude, because we've talked about it all year. But I will say this once. I'll say it again until I'm blue in the face. If Notre Dame had played the way they played against Texas A&M and everybody else that they've played, if they play like they did against Navy, they destroy Northern Illinois. They blow the doors off Northern Illinois. Northern Illinois is not even good, okay? It's just because Notre Dame beat A&M. They were riding high, and they just didn't take Northern Illinois seriously. I mean, and all the people on the internet that say Notre Dame is trash because they lost to Northern Illinois, it's got to be just some of the worst takes that I've ever seen on the internet this season. There have been a lot of bad takes. Honestly, takes are getting worse in football because of social media. Just everyone has an account. Everybody just says moronic things. They don't even know what they're talking about. And honestly, a lot of them are just trolling. They know they're being dumb, but they're just trolling because they can. But literally like, oh, Notre Dame, they're not even a top 25 team. They lost. No, Notre Dame is a really good football team. I would honestly say Notre Dame is better than Penn State. The problem is, though, is that Notre Dame does this every year, though. They lose to a crappy team that they should beat every single year because they have a focus problem. Notre Dame is a focus issue, and they'll never get over it, I don't think. I don't think they'll ever learn. It doesn't matter if it's Brian Kelly or Marcus Freeman. They do it every year, Will, and you know it. They do it every year. That's why every game you go into it freaking out. Oh, my God, we're going to lose. Because realistically, Notre Dame should be undefeated right now because they've looked great. They look like a top 5 to 7 team, but no one thinks they are because of that one stupid game. I think Notre Dame's better.
Well, I think I think our offense right now is better than Penn State's offense.
I think Notre Dame's better than Penn State. It's not by a massive amount, but I think it's by like that. I think it's like they're a little bit better. I think Notre Dame's like 6th or 7th, and Penn State's like 10th or 12th to me in that range. Notre Dame's better.
I mean, I think Notre Dame has a better quarterback and the better receivers than Penn State, in my opinion.
I mean, it's a fair comparison, though, Hummus, because, I mean, they're in that same range, right? They're a team that's always in the conversation. Yeah. They win a lot of games, but when push comes to shove and it gets to a big game, then they just fold. The difference is, to me, though, is that Penn State still isn't capable of winning the big game, and they've been able to beat up on everybody else, whereas Notre Dame always has that one stupid, silly game. And even Notre Dame, honestly, has won some big games these past few years. They just can't win against Stanford and Marshall and Northern Illinois, stuff like that. That's Notre Dame's problem. I
mean, I think Aller's similar to Riley, but I think Riley's been able to throw it a little better. Maybe it's because Riley has the receivers. Maybe if you flip them, like they would look the same. But
honestly, I don't think Riley Leonard or Drew Aller are very good.
I know. Yeah,
I do agree that Penn State doesn't have the best receivers, but the thing that makes me laugh, though, is that you talk about like Curtis Rourke having the season he's having, and he's like 9th on the QB list right now for like not Heisman. He's like 6th in the high, but for like the draft, right? For the draft, he's like 9th. Drew Aller's like 7th, and Drew Aller has played way worse than Curtis Rourke. So if Curtis Rourke was on Penn State right now, he would be way higher on the list. It is brand bias.
I think IU has better receivers than Penn State.
Yeah, but that shouldn't be the case.
I mean, that's not that. Yeah.
That shouldn't even be the case. Indiana's got a bunch of guys from the Sun Belt that everybody keeps talking about, whereas Penn State's recruiting 4 and 5 stars. So I don't get it. That don't even make any sense to me. You know, why they have such bad receivers when they got NIL out the yen. They should be able to recruit just fine. Steven said, hello, Jeffrey. I missed on Signetti. I've not even mentioned Signetti. That's the first time I've even said his name because you wrote it, Steven. I've not said it yet.
All right. Tennessee, Kentucky. Kentucky's not very good. Tennessee, I don't think Tennessee's going to win a national championship. I think they could win a playoff game, but their offense, Nico's not that good. I thought he would be better.
And keep in mind,
really good.
Keep in mind, all these folks out there, Notre Dame lost to Northern Illinois. Alabama lost to Vandy. They're terrible. Georgia beat Kentucky by 1. 1. So that right there should prove everything that I've been saying this season about how you cannot look at a team and say that they're better than this team legitimately 110%, like comparing Georgia and Alabama. What team do I think's better? I think Georgia is better than Alabama as a team. But has Georgia played better than Alabama this year? No. Outside of the Texas game, not really. And Alabama's got the Georgia game to counter that. So, I mean, literally, Hummus Harris and Vandy's clearly better than Kentucky. Yes, I agree. But everybody's trashing Bama more for losing to Vanderbilt than they are Georgia for beating Kentucky by 1 and beating a really bad Mississippi State team by only 10. So what's the difference here? I don't understand the difference. Georgia gets a pass because they won. Who cares? They still sucked. Georgia all seasons look pretty rough. I mean, I still think they're immensely talented. They're still a fantastic team, but you beat Kentucky by 1. Something's going on. And then they've had other results where they haven't looked good. But I do agree with you, Will. Tennessee's not a championship team. Not a championship team. They're in the Penn State category.
Texas A&M, man, they won their big game against LSU, and then boom, they lost to Carolina.
What does this prove? And look at South Carolina. Look at South Carolina. They should have beaten LSU. Where would they be right now? If they had beaten LSU, Will, and beat Alabama, look where they would be right now.
They would
Shane Beamer would be in the Coach of the Year conversation. And he's not, because they lost by 3 to LSU and they lost by 2 to Alabama. That's how perception changes. People just look at South Carolina. They're an average team. They're not an average team. They're actually really good this year. They're really good.
They might beat Clemson.
Did we pick? Who did we pick?
I think I picked A&M. I don't know who you picked, though.
Honestly, I think I picked A&M too, but now I'm kind of frustrated that I picked A&M if I did. I'd have to go back. Honestly, I don't even remember. Literally, this game has slipped my mind about who we picked because this one, there's a couple games I forgot, but I forgot this one. I don't know exactly why, but I know I said South Carolina had a shot at the very least. But they're not a bad team, and just 2 results would have really changed people's opinion on them. And I do agree with you, Hummus. You guys remember teams evolve and plateau. That's why the season is a different story. That I agree. And I think Ohio State's going down right now. Sorry to say, but they're playing worse. That's the point. I agree with you, Hummus. But teams do change. They get better, they get worse. And, yeah, I mean, that's how it works. Absolutely.
Iowa State blew their chance of not having to win the Big 12 championship to get in the playoff. Now they have to. They lost to Texas Tech at home.
Yeah, this was another game that I almost picked an upset here. I think I did go with Iowa State, but yeah, I told you Iowa State wasn't legit either. I think I picked Iowa State, but not going down, Steven. I'm saying they're trending down like ever so slightly, a little bit. Just not playing as well as they were earlier in the year. They're still fine. They're fine. They're really good. But you know what I'm talking about. Y'all were nervous. I saw the post 10-0 Penn State. Ohio State's fine. They're just not playing top 5 football right now. Texas Tech, though, again, they're a weird team because of the fact that they've had games this year they've looked horrible. That Baylor game barely beat Abilene Christian, but they have a good offense. And in Iowa State, I mean, I didn't think they were fantastic. They barely beat UCF. They've had a lot of close calls, and they finally lost. So,
Clemson, man, like I thought Clemson was playing well. Maybe were they just playing crappy teams? You think, Jeffrey, or
yeah. Plus, I think Louisville's one of those teams that they've lost some games, so people just kind of thought they suck, right? I mean, they lost. I'm trying to remember who they lost. They lost to SMU, and who are their other losses? My brain's not working right now.
Notre Dame, SMU.
They lost Notre Dame, and they lost
Miami.
one more game, Miami. And I mean, they're not bad. They're not a bad team. Clemson, I don't care what anybody says. I still think they have to use the portal. I don't know. I was starting to be like, you know what? They're blowing everybody out. Maybe it doesn't matter. They need the portal, man. They don't have enough juice on their team. When they play a really good team, and I'm not saying Louisville's really, really good, but good enough, Clemson just isn't the same team as they used to be. They got beat by Duke last year. No, it was week 1 or whatever. Yeah, last year. Because and Duke was really solid last year when Leonard was healthy. Because of the fact Clemson doesn't have the firepower and the depth that these other teams have because they just recruit high school. And then they lose guys to the portal. So, I don't know, man. I just think Clemson's never going to get back to the elite. They were fooling me for a brief, but they're not. They're not going to get back to being elite unless they change their recruiting.
I mean, do you think Cade actually got better, or do you think he's still not great? Because he's played better, but
I don't know. I really, again, thought that he was better. And honestly, by the way, on Penn State, because you guys keep talking about, I don't think they're a fraud. I just think they're the same team they've been the last 10 years. They're a top 10 to 12 team. They just can't win a big game. But I think with Clemson, with Cade Klubnik, I feel like he was getting hyped up this year because of the fact that he was winning all these games. He's playing pretty well, but like you said, haven't really beaten anybody. I don't know. I think he's all right. I think he's better than DJ, but I don't know.
And then Indiana.
Do you think he's good? Sorry.
I need to see him. If he plays well against the Carolina, I need to see how he plays in the Palmetto Bowl. I think he's got to play.
Absolutely.
Yeah. If he can do well against that defensive line in South Carolina and win, then maybe he has taken a step forward. But I need more.
I think he's good. I think he's good at best. I just don't think he's gonna ever maybe live up to his billing, as the highly rated guy that he was. I mean, that's what happened. It's the same thing with Drew Aller. You take expectations. Oh, these guys are highly rated, and then they're just kind of average to good, and then they're disappointing because you were expecting more. So Cade just falls in that group right now, unless he can prove it otherwise.
And IU off to their first ever 9-0 start. Went down early.
I'm sorry, Will. They keep talking about Penn State and Ohio State. Love you guys, but come on. I'm talking about with a hard schedule, a top 5 difficult schedule. Penn State would go 8-4. That's what I said. They don't play a top 5 difficult schedule. They never do. They're in the Big Ten, where every team
you're saying like if they
outside of Ohio State, Michigan, and Penn State the last few years. That's what I'm saying.
So you're talking about if they play like Florida schedule, they would go 8-4?
Yeah. That's what I think. Do you disagree?
You're probably right.
I agree. If Indiana had a top 5 difficult schedule, they would not be undefeated right now. Guess what? Indiana's had a top 5 difficult schedule every year for the last 15 years, and outside of one wonky year in the pandemic, they've sucked. They finally have an easier schedule. They got a good coach. They're winning games. It's awesome. I'm happy for IU. Don't care about the schedule. Don't care that they're not good. I don't care. I honestly do not care. You know why I don't care? Because Indiana deserves to have something. After 50 years of trash, they have something. I don't care. They're not Ohio State. They'll never be Ohio State. I'm not comparing them to Ohio State. I know you guys know that. You're trolling. I know. But they're not. I know that Indiana's not Ohio State. They'll never be Ohio State. I have a fandom of a team that is better than Ohio State 90% of the time during the last 20 years, and that's Alabama. Now, that could switch now because Alabama's trending down. They're going down. Ohio State, they're consistent. They're probably the most consistent program of all time. Even Mark Rogers has said that. But in the last 20 years, Bama's been the best team in college football. But I mean, I know Indiana's trash, but they're having a great season. And yeah, the schedule's made a big difference, but they still are kicking everybody's tail, and it's awesome. Now, if they get beat by 20 by Ohio State, so be it. But that's not going to prove that Nebraska game any different. Teams have different results. Ohio State barely beat Nebraska. Indiana destroyed them. Doesn't mean Indiana's better, but that's what happened. That's why you can't do the transitive property thing. I say that all the time too, but people still use it. So it just shows no one listens at all. But yeah, Indiana, big win that no one cares about, obviously, because it was on Peacock. And Indiana's beating a trash team. Who cares? This is awesome, man. They're 9-0 for the first time ever in history. I feel like what's being lost here, as now more people are jumping on this proverbial bandwagon. Now people are saying Indiana's terrible. They're overrated. They're no good. They shouldn't make the playoff. They're going to get beat by 30 by Ohio State. Why does that matter? Honestly, why does that matter? They've had 50 years of being trash, and they are undefeated, and they are 9-0 for the first time ever. That's awesome. I think that's all that matters. They could lose to Michigan this week, and it wouldn't change my feelings for the season for Indiana. It's still an epic season. I think that's what matters. I think it's all kind of getting lost. And I agree, Hummus, they're not a trash team. But see, that's what people are saying. Indiana's played nobody. They beat trash. I'm projecting what others are saying, which I think is trash. But that's my opinion, and that's theirs. All I'm saying is that what's happening for Indiana this season is a glorious thing to see a garbage football team have success. Vanderbilt's not an elite team, but everybody's praising them, and they're 6-3. But yeah, they've had a tougher schedule than Indiana. Still awesome for them. But IU just deserves to have one season, even if it's 1 year. If Signetti leaves for Florida, since everybody's saying that he's going to go to Florida State, or next year, even if he stays, they're going to be trash. This one season, just let Indiana have it, no matter what happens. Just let them have it. I think that's what needs to happen. I think people just need to let IU have a little bit of fun. Who cares if they're anywhere near Ohio State's level? I surely don't. I don't care.
And we have Houston beating Kansas State. I mean,
look at this. Go ahead, Will. I'll let you talk on this one.
Do you think that Willie Fritz is doing a good job with Houston now? I mean, they started off slow, but now they're starting to win. I mean, bad loss for Kansas State, but do you think that Houston's turning a corner and could be a good team next year?
Honestly, I think that he's doing better than anticipated, because weren't most people saying Houston was going to go like 2-10?
Mm-hmm.
I don't even remember what I said in the preseason. I know I didn't have them being good, like making a bowl game. I don't remember, like 4-8. I can't remember. But this game right here proves that Kansas State's not great. Again, the BYU game proved it. But then this game, K-State's better at home. But even then, they barely beat Kansas last week. Mm-hmm. Rivalry game, it's excusable, whatever. But the problem is that you look at teams like Kansas State, and they're in the Big 12. They don't play as tough of a schedule. It all goes back to that. I think Kansas State's fine. They're fine. Avery Johnson's fine. Team's fine. Kleiman's a good coach. This team's not a playoff team. And if they win the Big 12 somehow, which their chances are a lot slim now, but if they somehow made the playoff and won the Big 12, probably wouldn't win. You never know, though, because we've seen a lot of upsets this year. You never know. Maybe they play up Georgia. You never know. But Kansas State's not great. They're all right. They're a fringe top 25 team.
And then we have Pitt getting exposed by SMU.
I was correct on this one. I've had a
Yeah,
lot. I've had a lot of errors this year on like projecting teams, but I've been saying the last 3 weeks Pitt was not good. Great story, great for Pat Narduzzi. He saved his job. He's not on it. You know, people are never really saying he was on the hot seat. Pitt's been bad the last few years, but since Kenny Pickett, they're gonna make a bowl game, whatever. But yeah, Pitt was not very good. They're not very good.
College hoops did start tonight. My VCU Rams, my alma mater, won. I think Notre Dame won, or are they not playing today? I know the women's team won.
I'm just being honest. I have not looked at college basketball at all. Honestly, I didn't even know that it was on today until I looked like yesterday. I had no clue. So
I don't think they played today, the Irish. So
SMU might win the Big 12. What? I'm missing something. Wait a minute. I don't know. I'm confused. I don't know. I think he meant ACC. I don't know though. They're not. I mean, they're realistically they should be in the Big 12. It would make sense for them to be in the Big 12. That is perfect for them. But geography's gone. With everything. But yeah, I haven't. Yeah, you're good, Troy. You had me full for a second because they should be in the Big 12. To me, the Big 12 would be a great fit for them. But yeah, I haven't looked at college basketball. I think. Yeah, that's true. I think they could win the Big 12 if they were in it. Yeah, absolutely. I'm getting thrown off. I think with college basketball though, once the big games like the Champions Classic start, that's when I get college basketball like back into focus. These little games just don't, they're football's the focus right now. You know what I'm saying?
It sucks that Robbie Avila got hurt. I hope he gets better.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But, yeah, back to football. Taylor Green got hurt for Arkansas, which kind of killed their chance of winning this game. And then
Arkansas is not bad either. I think South Carolina's better, but I mean Arkansas has actually been, pretty decent. Yeah, they've been pretty decent this year, all things considered. But I don't know the extent of the injury because I did not watch a second of this game. A lot of games I've just missed. I've seen some results. Like I did watch a lot of the Ohio State Penn State game, but I've missed a lot of games. But I do think that Ole Miss is trending up. I think they're playing better than they were earlier in the season. But if Arkansas can't get Taylor Green back, then that's going to really hurt their season. I mean, I think they have another like easy game, a non-conference game against a nobody team, so they will make a bowl game. But any shot of them, going like 7-5, 8-4, are going to go out the window if they can't get him back.
See what the latest news is.
See, I absolutely agree with Thomas here. Like send Cal, Stanford, SMU, the Big 12 for West Virginia, Cincy, and UCF. That makes sense. I mean, you can almost put Louisville in the Big 12, honestly. You could almost put Louisville in the Big 12. I don't know if you agree with that, Will, but I think you could.
They're more SEC.
Well, I mean, they're technically more SEC, but the SEC isn't probably going to want them, though. I don't think, but I could be wrong. I don't know. Realignment's been so crazy, anything's possible. But I wouldn't think they would go there. You found anything on Taylor Green?
I think he'll be all right. It doesn't look that bad.
Okay, good.
I stopped watching the game, but apparently he came back. But I stopped watching when it got out of hand. Yeah. Minnesota beat Illinois. Illinois is not that good. I mean,
yeah, the game that changed my opinion
Purdue.
was the Purdue game. I don't care. I do not care that they changed QBs or whatever, caught them off. Purdue sucks, legitimately, and Illinois won by 1 in overtime. I don't know. I mean, I know, like I said, results are weird. Notre Dame lost to Northern Illinois. Bama lost to Vandy. I get it. It's weird, but Illinois has been trending down. They've been trending down. I think they're okay, but they're not great. They're not great. And PJ Fleck, the used car salesman, it wins again. He's saving his job. That's all I can say. He's saving his job.
Yeah, his job.
He's not getting fired.
Walters should get fired from Purdue, though.
Oh, he's done. If he doesn't get fired, then Purdue just wants to lose, honestly. I don't even know. They have to fire him.
Auburn freaking sucks. All these, the one thing Auburn fans were saying was like, haha, Alabama lost to Vandy. And then Vandy goes to Alabama.
Who cares? I mean, like, literally, who cares?
Jeffrey, you know how much Auburn fans hated Brian Harsin?
A lot.
So Brian Harsin went 9-12 at Auburn, and then they fired him.
Yeah, Hugh Freeze has been worse.
And then Hugh Freeze before this game was 9-12, and now he's 9-13 at Auburn. He's officially worse than Brian Harsin.
Yeah, and the thing is, here Auburn was favored in the game. Only reason that Auburn was favored in this game is because Auburn has more talent, which means nothing. More talent means nothing when you are a crappy team. Auburn has more talent than Vanderbilt, but Auburn sucks. They are horrible. And Hugh Freeze, and they're lifeless, man. Auburn is lifeless. I'm shocked they beat Kentucky because they are lifeless. They just have no will, man. I watched the end of this game, like the final quarter of this game. I was laughing, Will, at my TV, laughing at how garbage this team is. They do not care. They don't care. Dude, I would just get rid of them all. If I was that coach of Auburn, I would literally get rid of every single one of those players on that football team. They don't care. I get rid of everybody. They suck. The fans, I mean, I literally actually feel bad for Auburn fans. Mm-hmm. You know, Vandy might own the state of Alabama, but honestly,
for the season.
Now, I mean, for the season, but not really. I mean, I get the joke, but for the season, but no.
This was their first ever win in Jordan Hare, so good job, Hugh Freeze. You lost.
I'm happy for him, honestly. Yeah. I am happy for Vandy. The only reason Auburn is still high in the S&P is because of the fact that it's Auburn. Like, they always get overranked in the preseason because it's Auburn. They are not a good team at all.
I don't know why the heck Deuce Knight. I mean, I guess it was the money. Why Deuce Knight, Notre Dame's quarterback, flipped to Auburn. I don't know, man.
That's sad.
If he starts next season for Auburn, man, he's going to be a deer in headlights.
See, the thing is, Will, is unfortunately a lot of players just they don't understand that the money ain't always everything, if you know what I'm saying. Like, you take $3 million to go to Auburn versus $2 million to go to Notre Dame. Where are you going to have more success? Notre Dame. You know, like I would rather go to Notre Dame. But I mean, that's just what a lot of players do. They go where the money is, and then they go to the wrong team. There are a lot of teams in college football right now that have a lot of NIL, but they're not good. They are really bad. And Auburn's one of them. He should have stayed at Notre Dame. He only went to Auburn because they gave him, but that's stupid because Auburn's trash. I mean, and like I said, I'm really happy for Vanderbilt. It's really irritating that Bama lost the game because they shouldn't have. I mean, there's no way Alabama should have lost that game. They shouldn't have. But Alabama played like crap. It is what it is. But yeah, I don't know.
That doesn't make sense, huh? I mean, I don't know how the heck they're ranked that high in SP+. I don't know. Maybe I need to look up SP+, but
the thing is Auburn's been bad though. Like, what metric could they even be good in? They've been horrible all season. Cracking me up. I agree with Scotty B. Talent's not to be on end of the to play culture. Absolutely. Like, if you have tons of talent but no culture, your execution stinks, the players are doing weed in the locker room, you're not going to win. It's just the way that it works. You're not going to win. You have to have good coaching, and the players have to execute that good coaching, and they have to be focused. So, I don't know. That's just Auburn's just not a well-coached team. Not at all. And the
Nebraska is falling apart again. Nebraska is falling apart again. Oh, man, Nebraska.
Call it as well as you will. We both brought it up at the exact same time a couple weeks ago.
If they lose this game.
What if Nebraska loses out? It's a possibility, legit. Don't they have Iowa?
How does
Garbers
Garbers stinks? How did Garbers do that well against your defense, man? Like,
I mean, isn't that right though? Don't they close with USC and Wisconsin and Iowa?
Yeah,
they can lose all three.
I mean that whoever wins that USC Nebraska game, whoever loses that is probably not making a bowl. So USC Nebraska grudge match to make a bowl.
Scotty says Nebraska might have their QB back. Did Raiola not play?
Raiola was horrible in this game. I watched it.
I thought
he was
played.
horrible.
Yeah.
He played and he was horrible.
Is he not good? I mean, he's a freshman, I get it, but is he not good?
He looked all right. He looked good against Colorado, but maybe I don't know. But Colorado's now playing well, so I don't know.
Do you think they'd beat Colorado now? I don't.
No.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Teams change. Nebraska sucks now. Indiana broke them.
Mm-hmm.
Indiana broke them. I think we can all agree on that.
Yeah.
Indiana broke them. I mean, I hope. I legit. I'm serious right now. I legit hope Nebraska makes a bowl game. I do. You know why? Because I feel for Nebraska. Like, Indiana's my feel-bad team. Always has, always will. I just always had a soft spot for the horrible Hoosiers. They're not horrible this season. It's awesome. But Nebraska, I've always felt bad for them too. Not to the level of Indiana, but...
I mean, Nebraska's going to have more fans at the Coliseum than USC will. I guarantee you that. So it's going to be a home game for them in LA. They should... I mean, I don't know if they'll beat USC. I don't know.
They lost to UCLA at home.
How?
At home. They lost at home, man, to UCLA. And people be like, okay, UCLA.
I mean, they're trending up.
Rutgers.
They are trending up. They are trending up.
A little bit. Indiana would still beat them by 30. Oh, my gosh, Will. Nebraska. Okay, are you picking them to miss a bowl game? Yes or no?
The USC game is tough. Let me think about that USC game this week. That's a tough game to pick.
We got to get back to that, though. I'm legit thinking about saying that they're not making a bowl game. Yeah, I agree, Jackson. I'm like self-destructing right now. I am having a hissy fit. They shouldn't have lost. Nebraska is a choke too. And if you
watch that game, though, Nebraska deserved to lose. They played horrible. They did play horrible in that game.
It's ridiculous.
Like, UCLA looked like the better team.
I just don't know how Nebraska is quite possibly going to do it again. They literally will. Last year were 5-3, and they lost their last 4 games, and they went 5-7. This year they started out 5-1. 5-1. They're coming into Indiana. We're going to beat Indiana. We're going to knock them off their pedestal. We're going to knock Indiana off their pedestal. And right after that, they lose to Indiana after that big hype. Oh, we're better than Indiana. We're 5-1. We should be ranked. All that kind of stuff. They lost their last 3 games, and the team they played the best against was Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, really. Appreciate Jackson. We got a super chat from Jackson. He says a child could smack UCLA on the field. Honestly, probably. I agree. Really appreciate the super chat, Jackson. It helps the channel a lot. Appreciate it. But yeah, I don't know, man. Nebraska is painfully hurting me right now. They are hurting me. I can't believe they're going to do it again. Mm-hmm. It looks like.
Mm-hmm. And Carolina's defense, man, they held up against Florida State's horrible offense. It was the movable object against the stoppable force, and the force stopped.
Yeah.
I
will say with Carolina, though, that, they have had a lot of bad games this year. But honestly, if they had have played better in some of their other games that they've lost, North Carolina should already be bowl eligible. North Carolina's not bad. They've proven that these past 2 weeks. I know they're against really bad teams, but they're blowing them out. I think Criswell's figuring it out for North Carolina. That's
Criswell just turns it over sometimes. And it's like,
he
what
turns
are you
it
doing?
over sometimes, but he's figuring it out. And Amari Hampton is a beast. He's a beast. Carolina, though, that Duke game, man, they should have beat Duke. And they lost. Then they lose to Georgia Tech as well. They were close in that one. The James Madison game was just stupid. I don't know. Carolina's not terrible. Their schedule's easy. It's another very easy schedule. Even if Carolina was undefeated right now, I wouldn't be saying they're a great team. They're not a great team, but Carolina should be better than 5-4 with their schedule. But they've played like crap. They're starting to figure it out, though. I just wonder if they went out, does Mac Brown stay? I still think he could retire.
Yeah, Mac Brown, this is his first win against Florida State, so I'm happy for Mac to finally get his first win against them.
Yeah, that's awesome. Do you think if they went out, he'll still retire? I think he'll retire.
Yeah, he'll probably retire because he's old. But it's maybe someone that might have to retire soon. Mike Gundy, 0-6 in the Big 12.
Oh, my God. I was not expecting this. Was anybody expecting this?
I thought Arizona State's been playing better, but
no, not this game. I'm talking about them being 3-6.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, we both picked Arizona State. Obviously, at this point, no one's picking Oklahoma State anymore. But I don't know what's going on, man. Like, no one thought they were going to be 3-6. So, because I mean, he's Mr. Consistent. He was like the Kurt Ferentz of the Big 12. You know what I'm saying? Like 8-4 every year. That was Gundy. So. I don't know. It maybe it's time to hang it up. I still think he's got more years in him. They're not going to fire him, but right now. But yeah, Arizona State's been a surprise team. Obviously, not beating up great teams or anything, but still, like, very impressive for Dillingham.
I know. Gundy was asking for the fans to be patient. I mean, Gundy. I mean, come on. It's a little late for that, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is what makes it worse is because you returned your quarterback from last year. You returned Ollie Gordon from last year.
You beat Arkansas.
And then you've just sucked ever since. And Ollie Gordon, I mean, I don't know if we've ever seen a player drop off as much.
Well, I think they used him too much, and like his body just needs time to heal. I feel like, and I hope he gets it.
No, I hope he does too, because he was great last year. I mean, but like I said. The thing that sucks is when he came back, people are so thrilled, but it's like it almost would have been better for him to leave last year. Like him coming back, I mean, all of his stock is gone. He's not probably on no draft boards. I haven't seen him on any. Maybe he's in the late rounds, but I mean, he I don't know, dude. That was a bad decision to come back. That was a bad decision to come back.
Bad decision for Fafita and McMillan to come back to Arizona.
What have you noticed though? Will Jackson on screen with the super chat. Appreciate it again, Jackson. But Will UCF every year they have one of these games. Have you noticed that where they just blow?
They're weird. Out? They're so weird.
Last year that Oklahoma State game, they won 55-3 against Oklahoma State when Oklahoma State was coming off Bedlam. Then this. What is this?
It's like Malzahn. Like he had that Iron Bowl where sometimes he just pulled it out of his butt. And then
I don't get it. I mean,
maybe that's that.
You take this game and you're like, if they played like this all year, they'd be having a way better season. They're 4-5 right now, but they have this result. This should not even be feasible. You know, this shouldn't even be feasible if you're a garbage team. And UCF's play like garbage last few weeks, but they hung with Iowa State like they've had their moments. But I don't know. Crazy.
Navy let that Notre Dame loss beat them twice, unfortunately. So.
They played food. Yeah.
They lost to food.
They played food and pack. Wow. Yeah, that's ugly. I mean, that shouldn't have happened. I don't know what to say. Like, Navy looked really good this season, you know, to start out. So maybe they'll turn it around. That was disappointing. Rice isn't even good.
I'm so happy that Notre Dame didn't hire Luke Fickell. Thank God for that, man.
Iowa, man. I told you they do this every year. Iowa. I mean, they had one of the easiest schedules in the Big Ten, and I remember Iowa fans saying they were going to win the Big Ten or make the title game or whatever. And I'm like, no, they're not, and they're not. But look, they're still winning games. It's still Iowa. Now, if they had a hard schedule in the Big Ten, they probably would be worse than 6-3. But they're Iowa. As long as Kirk Ferentz is there, they're just going to keep on going 8-4, 9-3. 8 or 7, 8-4. I mean, that's what they do every year. So good job for Iowa being Iowa. That's all I can say. With a bit better of an offense this year by a little bit. Passing offense still isn't good, but.
Mm-hmm. And then USC again. And,
I'm glad I picked Washington, man. I'm glad I picked Washington. Hey, USC is really bad, man. I mean, I will say, to try to give them a little bit of defense, most of their losses have been extremely close.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that. It's not like they're getting blown out here. But my Lord, they can't. They're like the Nebraska of that 4-8 season. Literally. Now, will they go 4-8? I don't know. But have all their losses been by like one score?
Mm-hmm.
They've like it's literally the Nebraska 4-8 year.
Yeah.
They're the best 4-5 team right now. They're not horrible, but they can't win.
They throw it too much. They should run it more. I don't understand why they throw it. Like 50 is too much.
Yeah. I mean, Washington's a tough place to play. Like I even told you, Will, if Indiana was traveling out to Washington, oh my Lord, especially a night game, Indiana might lose. You know, I don't know. I would maybe pick Indiana, but Washington's tough to beat at night at home. And USC, that's where they had to play them, at night and at Washington. It's not an easy place to play, but still, like USC just cannot close out a game this year to save their life.
Mm-hmm. Yes, in 1985, Iowa was number 1 for a week.
That's a long time ago.
They had to play Michigan and Ohio State in a row, and they couldn't.
Yeah, I agree, Hummus, on USC having a high SP because I saw what you posted. USC did. I can get that. Like they haven't been horrible. They just keep losing games by one score. With Auburn, though, Auburn just sucks to me. I think Auburn just completely sucks. USC is way better than Auburn. Now, if they both play, could Auburn beat them? Yeah, maybe. I mean, on a good day. But I still think as a team, USC is better. But now, Brock RTR, I will be bringing basketball talk back. Absolutely. I might go out for the Champions Classic late game next Tuesday. It depends. That probably will. That's going to be a good game, Duke, Kentucky. But, yes, basketball talk will be coming back. But appreciate you for stopping by. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. And Scotty, yes, I got it wrong. Big 12's hard to pick, man. Big 12's hard to pick, and I
went with Baylor, man. I went with Baylor. Hey, I appreciate you for posting that, Scotty. It was so funny. He posted on my. He added us. You saw it, I'm sure, Will. That I picked Baylor. He picked TC. That made me laugh though. That was funny. No problem, man. I almost went TCU. I almost did. This was a pick'em game. It was 50-50. You know, I mean, Josh Hoover is good. I think Hoover's decent, and I think he's the better quarterback between the two teams. But Baylor, they got the home field advantage there and got it done. Absolutely. But Dave Aranda looks like he's saving his job. Traveling Fools is in the house. Appreciate you for being here. Absolutely. Always love seeing the yo-yo-yos. I always know when Traveling Fools when I see that. And I always love too when he says quit laughing, Will. That always cracks me up. Man. Like quit laughing, Will. So good.
All right, let's get this next week up and rolling.
Can't wait to get into it, man. I haven't even looked at the schedule all that much. So, I mean, I do know some of the big games, but definitely some of the smaller games, I'm probably not even going to remember half of them. So,
Cal and Wake. Can Cal finally win the ACC game?
Can you get it back on screen?
Oh, gosh darn it.
I was about to say, like, I definitely want it back on screen for everybody to see. But you're good, man. Hummus Hero says Auburn does suck, but they've done decently against the teams they played. I agree that they haven't, gotten blown out a lot. I still think they're way worse than USC, though. Okay, ACC Network, Cal at Wake. Oh, man. Well, I will say that Mendoza has been all right for Cal. He's been all right. The problem is that Cal is kind of also like USC. They've lost a lot of close games. I mean, that Florida State game was stupid.
Yeah.
They should not have lost to
won.
Florida State.
I mean, if they beat Stanford and Wake, they can make a bowl at least. So that would be
I
good.
think Cal's the better team.
Yeah.
I think they're the better team, but I don't trust them because they find ways to lose. That's not a good trait. When you're a team that finds ways to lose, they should win this game. That's why the spread is them by 7. They should win. And I think, like, if you went to the S&P rankings, I'm sure Cal would be higher in the rankings. They've played better than Wake, but they still don't win frequently. I guess I'll go with Cal to win 24-20, I guess.
Yeah, I'll go 20. I'll go 27 to 10, Cal. I just don't think
we got Dave Brown here as well. Appreciate
Congrats
that.
on your win over Clemson, Dave.
Yeah, I mean, and Austin's like saying that people are, disrespecting Louisville. I don't think anybody or not putting respect on the name. It was a good win. I just think people are still like, Clemson just isn't still that elite yet. But Dave Brown says Bourbon account still shadow banned. Well, that's dumb. That's stupid. Hopefully it gets unbanned. Then we got the Fox game in the Big Ten. Iowa at UCLA. You see an upset here since UCLA is playing a little bit better, or do you trust consistent?
This would be the first time Iowa would win in the Rose Bowl since the 50s, I believe.
Yeah, like how it was Indiana's first ever one in the Rose Bowl earlier this season. So, I mean, a lot of history being made. People are just beating up on UCLA in the Rose Bowl.
Yeah. What year was that? 1959 Rose Bowl. That was the last time. Iowa finished number 2 in the polls that year.
I'll go with Iowa 31, UCLA 20. I think Iowa with Caleb Johnson, I don't think UCLA can shut them down.
Yeah, I agree. I'm thinking a big Hawkeye win. I'll go 24-3.
That could happen. I give UCLA a little credit because they've been looking a little better, but I do think Iowa gets it done, and I think they cover.
And then we have Clemson, Virginia Tech. Will Clemson lose again?
This is a sneaky game right here. I know it's on ESPN at 3:30, so it's getting spotted. That's a sneaky game. Okay, well, obviously, if Clemson beats Louisville, I probably wouldn't think twice, and I would pick Clemson. But the issue I got with Virginia Tech is that, man, they have blown games this year. Those three games against Vanderbilt, Miami, and then last week in Syracuse, they should have one loss right now. Right? Like, they should not be 5-4. I don't know.
Will Tootin and Drones play, though? That's what I want to know. Will Tootin and Drones play?
Yeah, that's the issue. Like, they got the injuries right there. Schlee playing last week, and he just wasn't getting it done. Honestly, I think Clemson will bounce back and win this game 31-24. It's not going to be pretty. They're not going to blow them out. Virginia Tech's going to keep it close with the crowd, and whether Drones plays or not, I think Clemson wins, though.
Okay. Yeah, I think Clemson will probably win. I'll go 27-17.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I mean, Virginia Tech could win. If they won, it wouldn't shock me at all whatsoever. But I think Clemson will get it done.
Yeah. And Notre Dame, don't mess around. Just blow out Florida State, please.
Oh, my Lord. Will, this would be such a Notre Dame thing to do, to lose this game. You know it is. It would be such a Notre Dame thing to do. They're at home. Florida State is bad. And the fact that NBC already scheduled this game for an NBC thinking Florida State was going to be good is laughable. This is why you don't schedule games in the preseason. My goodness, you don't do this. That's what I hate about basketball. You remember those couple seasons when like Kentucky was bad and Duke had a bad year and Carolina was really awful, and then they kept putting them on ESPN because in basketball in the preseason they already scheduled the games, so they put you on more of the major networks when they think you're going to be good. So this game is stupid on NBC. This should be Peacock. This is a stupid, stupid game to have on NBC. And it's because they already had it in the preseason. That's why you should do it a week or two in advance, because then you can be able to schedule based on how the teams are playing. So like Indiana now getting on CBS, now getting on Fox. Would they be on CBS and Fox? But since they're 9-0, they're getting put on CBS and the major networks. That's how it should be done. That's how it should be done. It should not be done like this. Notre Dame should win. I'll go 38-14. If it's any closer than that, then it's.
I don't want Florida State to score. All right, Florida State should not score this game. I'm gonna go 49-0 Notre Dame.
Yeah, it should.
And we have the other, probably the second worst. So Florida State's probably the worst Power 5 team. Purdue's probably the second or the first worst Power 5 team. So I'll just go 56-0 Buckeyes. I mean, Purdue.
And this is another game it's really stupid to have on a major network. I understand why it's on Fox because of Ohio State and the brand. It's going to bring in a lot of views because it's Ohio State. Now, I will never doubt or talk about Ohio State's brand power. Man, they've got brand power. Mm-hmm. But this game is stupid to have on Fox. And I agree, Hummus. Indiana, Michigan should be NBC. It should be NBC at night, but this game was already scheduled in the preseason. But yeah, Ohio State big. Ohio State, if they win by any less than 30, then it's disappointment. I'll say 41-3.
And we have the rematch of last season.
Okay, I like this game here. I'm intrigued here. Georgia Tech, though, I will say Georgia Tech is kind of disappointed a little bit. A little bit. I don't think Miami's great. I really don't. But is Georgia Tech good enough to be that team that gets them?
Will Haynes King play?
Yeah, I saw that he was injured. So he's injured. Well, if he's out, then no. Do you have any injury update on him, if possible? That's probably why they're struggling.
We don't know.
Okay, well, since we don't know, I can't make my pick based off of that. So I guess I'll go Miami 31-24.
Yeah, I'll go 42-31.
Yeah, I think it will be a higher scoring game. I think it will be pretty close, but Miami somehow wins, like Scotty B said. That's what they've been doing all year. They just somehow win. What do you think about this comment?
I mean, I think Gus and Cloud are my favorite crew. I mean, they're the best. They're my favorite crew, man. I mean, I would say them. Yeah, them. And then I would say probably the NBC. I like the NBC crew. And then I would probably go ESPN and then CBS last because they're old.
Yeah, Nestler and Danielson.
Yeah.
Yeah, Troy says I can't stand him or Gus, and Hummus says Klatt seems to be getting worse.
Klatt? Okay, I'll say this. I don't think Klatt likes Ohio State. I'm going to be honest. I think he's a Buckeye hater.
Okay, I mean, does that really matter, though? Every game I've watched
I would say that's why they don't like
Well, here's the thing. Well, like every commentator that has done Indiana this year, almost all of them have kind of downplayed him. Colt McCoy was on the Peacock broadcast, and I couldn't watch the game because no Peacock. But I saw the highlights, and like every single clip of Colt McCoy, he was glazing Michigan State the whole time. Okay, the whole game.
You know who's really good? Jason Benetti is really good play-by-play. Hummus. He's probably my favorite.
I like Benetti.
Yeah,
but Benetti's good. He does baseball too.
Yeah, he does.
I don't know. Commentators get scrutinized heavily these days because everybody reacts to what they say on social media. I feel like in the past, people didn't do that as much. People just remember like the big moments. But now, like everything that commentators say gets scrutinized. Like everything I say. Like when I say something at all that can get taken out of context at all, you guys in the chat go crazy with it, which is cool. I appreciate all you guys for being here. But that's just the way it works these days. Like 1 minute, someone can like a commentator, then they say one thing that they don't particularly like, and then now I hate them. Okay. Or not me, but just people in general. I don't know. It's kind of funny though. I think Clack and Gus, I always liked Gus because he always kind of made me laugh, you know, with the way he exaggerates things. So I've always liked Gus pretty well. Not that I don't think he's the most knowledgeable sports guy in the world at all. I just think he's pretty funny.
Oh, you like Jackson like Sean McDonough the best? Oh, I peed my pants. Oh my goodness. Oh, it's all over my underwear. Oh. Oh man, Sean McDonough.
I think I might have cut out there. What I was saying was is Jackson, I think, does like Sean McDonough the best. I mean, I think I've heard him say that before. He does good.
Yeah.
You think Florida's any shot? Probably not. Especially
not with their quarterback situation.
Yeah.
So I'll go.
If Lagway was playing, then maybe. But
I'll go 35.
I'll go Texas.
35.
34, yeah.
35-13. Yeah.
I was gonna say 34-17.
Minnesota should beat Rutgers.
This would be a PJ Fleck type game to lose.
It would.
You know what I'm saying? Like they're 6-3. People think Minnesota's better. They're coming back around, and then they choke. This would be the perfect PJ Fleck game to lose. So I'm not as certain as you on that. I think Rutgers could win,
but like Rutgers has just been trending down really so bad, man.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'll go Minnesota 24-21, but I think this one's close. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Maybe Minnesota blows the doors off of it. I think it's 24-21. Minnesota. I'll go Minnesota, but I don't think they win by a lot.
I'll say Rutgers scores less. I'll go 24-14.
We got Syracuse at Boston College. That's another interesting little game. BC's falling apart. We don't have Jason here. If Jason was here, he'd be mad. He's like, oh, no, Jeffrey's back to hating Boston College. I was really liking Boston College, too. I was like, they're all right. Now they're sucking again.
BC's favored, though.
Yeah, they're favored because they're at home. And Cuse lost a lot of respect when they got blown out against Pitt. I don't know.
This one's tough.
I don't even have a read on this one, man. Castellanos is still playing, right? He's still starting and stuff. I don't know, dude.
I'll go. I guess I'll pick Syracuse 31-27.
I want to go Boston College, but because Colin McCord has a game like last week where he plays well, and then another game where he plays really bad. So he could play bad in this one. I don't know. Cuse has more offense. The 7-21 Cuse, I guess. I would go with BC, but they kind of have looked like garbage recently. So
and we have another.
Troy said, did Rutgers get a lot of injuries, or did we overestimate them in the offseason? They had an easy schedule coming into this year, so a lot of people just thought they'd win a lot of games. They go like 8-4. I don't know. I think the injuries have been an issue, but.
And we have West Virginia, Cincinnati, in a game that I feel like Neil Brown has to have to keep his job.
Brendan Sorsby's been good this year. So, and they're at home. So, give me Cincinnati to win 31-21.
I don't know, man. Do I believe in Neil Brown's power to
Dude,
save
you
Dallas?
always really go West Virginia because of the
I
West Virginia
do.
guys, man. You always do. Every time we get to West Virginia, you think so hard. They suck, man.
All right. Cincinnati, 31-24.
Don't get me wrong though. Neil Brown, he doesn't want to go. He doesn't want to go, so you never know. He might win, but Cincinnati's look better. I mean, I'm not saying Cincinnati's good either, but I feel like Brendan Sorsby's been by far, the best player between the two teams.
Are they going to put in Nico Marchiol, you think, or do you think they'll stick with Garrett Green?
I don't know. Garrett Green has not been that good, so it wouldn't surprise me.
Mm-hmm.
You think it would help?
Maybe. We'll see. And then we have Navy, South Florida. Please just win, Navy. Come on.
I guess I don't know, man. Honestly, I don't.
I haven't watched any South Florida though. But here we go. Here's the 3:30 games.
I want Ole Miss to win.
Mm-hmm.
I want Ole Miss to win. Do you think Ole Miss has a chance? Do you think Ole Miss can upset? I guess it's an upset. It would be an upset. The Georgia Bulldogs, who have been looking pretty rough recently.
Kirby just, I know, but can they pull another Texas performance out of their butt?
Trey Harris, is Trey Harris healthy? Yeah, I think I cut out there. Sorry. Yeah, I knew that was gonna come from Jackson. He said Ole Miss will come up short again. Let's be honest, Ole Miss is the Penn State of the SEC. I mean, you're not wrong. Obviously, Penn State has way more history than Ole Miss, but in their both present states, yeah.
I mean, they did play each other in a pretty close bowl game last year. It was a close game.
I don't know, man. I want Ole Miss to win. I do. I really do. But George, the thing
I think Trey Harris is going to play. That's what it looks like he's coming back.
Okay, well, that helps.
Yeah.
Man, my gut is telling me Georgia, but my mind's wanting Ole Miss. Georgia has not looked good, and Ole Miss is trending up.
The
problem is, though, is Ole Miss does give up points, though. They give up points.
28-24 Ole Miss.
Ooh! Oh, man. We'll go with the spicy upset here.
Georgia has this coming, man. They've played so bad.
Okay, I disagree with that. Jackson says Ole Miss is a better chance with Miss Kitty, the Lombard, and Georgia. Ole Miss has a shot, Jackson.
Troy's picking them too. Troy's picking them too.
I'm going Ole Miss 34-28. I'm going Ole Miss too. I want it to happen. I think it could happen. Georgia's the better team, but they're not playing that good. So I'll go Ole Miss. They're at home. I know they don't have the biggest home environment, but it is a tough place to play. Give me Ole Miss. I could be wrong, and if I'm wrong, because, yeah, Ole Miss is kind of like Penn State. I agree with Jackson. I do agree with Jackson. And Georgia typically finds ways to pull out games. They do. But give me –
This is kind of similar to the Ohio State-Penn State game. I'm going to be honest. But Ole Miss –
It does. It does feel the same. Is it the exact same, though? I mean, Ohio State and who's played better this season, Georgia or Ohio State?
Ohio State, barely.
Because
Will Howard's been better than Beck. Beck's been crap. And Will Howard's been better than Beck.
I don't know if I guess I agree. I don't know, man. This game is very similar to Ohio State Penn State. It is, man. The thing is that I agree with Hummus here. Ole Miss is back in stride, but Georgia seems to show up against better teams. I mean, oh no, Steven. Oh my gosh, you guys are awesome, man. You guys are awesome. You crack me up. I don't know, man. I don't know. Ole Miss, give me Ole Miss. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'll admit it. I'll admit I'm wrong. I do admit when I'm wrong. So I'll go with Ole Miss.
We have Indiana and Michigan. I think this is Indiana's biggest spread since the Indiana State game.
This is Indiana's biggest spread since that game, and this is probably Indiana's biggest spread against Michigan ever.
Yeah.
Like, have they ever been favored by 14?
Well, 2020 Michigan was bad too, but I don't think
Indiana wasn't favored by 14.
I don't think it was 14. I'll look it up how much it was.
I mean, this is an unprecedented spread. They didn't have spreads back in the past, in the early mid 1900s. Like, Indiana's favored by 2 touchdowns against Michigan, or as Ohio State fans call the cheaters. Oh man, because
we gotta find the spread.
We got Steven saying where did his guy? He says Indiana over the cheaters 35-13. They will tear the goalpost down when they beat the cheaters. The voice of college football. We got the voice of college football. I appreciate you for stopping by, Mark. Says, how is IU a 14-point favorite? Oregon was a 4.5-point favorite. Crazy. That's because Oregon was on the road. This is at home. Indiana's at home. Come on. Indiana's got a legit home environment now. Oh, my gosh. The IU slander is real. I appreciate it, Mark. I appreciate it.
Oh, man.
I know IU is overrated, probably. I know that, but it's still awesome to see it. Did you find the spread, though, from that
I can't find it.
If I can recall, Will, I think they were favored by.
Oh, here we go. Oh, wait. Oh, it's just showing the movement in the spread. Darn it.
I think they were favored by 2.5.
That sounds right.
I think that season. I honestly can't remember, but I think they were favored by 2.5.
Here we go. I think okay. Hopefully this website shows it.
Hopefully it does.
Oh, dang, we're going.
Let me see if I can look it up. I can't remember. Yeah, I don't know. I just know that this is Indiana's biggest spread against Michigan ever. That's all I know. That is a fact. The voice of college football says IU has a home environment. Like when you invite some neighbors over, you don't have enough chairs, liver and diner. Come on. Indiana has a home environment.
I mean, Mark, it looks good against Washington if you watch that game. I mean,
have you seen the Nebraska and Washington games? IU is 52,000 strong. Sold out crowds. I mean, it's decent. It's pretty good. And Kurt Cignetti's talking about building up to 80K, which is why I'm hoping he stays. If he legit stays, that could happen. Indiana could have a legit happens. Indiana has a home environment. They have a home environment now. I think they do. I do. But that's all right, Mark. It's all good. You know, it's all good. But that's an hilarious comment. That's funny. I mean, the thing is, I'm a little nervous about this game. Like, I've been nervous about, all the games they play because Indiana doesn't have that significant talent advantage. They don't, so they have to play well. Michigan has more talent than Indiana on paper. But the thing is that Indiana's just playing so well and so disciplined. And Curtis Rourke's back, and he played very well against Michigan State. He's 5th in the Heisman odds right now. I don't know if anybody knows that. Curtis Rourke is 5th in the Heisman odds. I think Indiana just has way more offense than Michigan. Michigan does have the do they have the better defense? Indiana's defense has been really good. Michigan has some more talented defense, but they
Will
haven't been playing as well on defense because the
Is Will
season's going
Johnson
south.
playing, you think?
Say that again.
Do you think is Will Johnson gonna play?
Yeah, I've seen talk about Will Johnson. I don't know. Some people said yes, some people said no. Will Johnson was out against Oregon, obviously. I don't know. It seems he's iffy. Doesn't say anything definitive.
Yeah.
I think Indiana went. I mean, I really don't want to give my pick away because then no one's gonna watch the show tomorrow. Hopefully, you guys still watch the Indiana show tomorrow. You guys gonna watch the Indiana at the Voice of College Football show tomorrow? If you guys do, then I'll say my pick. I don't want to give away my pick though. If
All right.
I don't know, I honestly I don't want to give away my pick. Can we wait on this one?
All right. I'll say Hoosiers. I'll go 38-10. I think they'll pour it on.
I hope it happens. I hope they win by that much. I mean, I still think Michigan will have a chance because, again, the talent advantage, but we'll see. Voice of College Football marks at 52,000 strong while Ohio State's overflow in the parking lot. Oh, my goodness. I know, Mark. Ohio State's got a lot more fans. But Indiana's getting there.
So it says Michigan was the favorite, according to this website. This is the first time since they've been the underdog since like pre-Bo Schembechler.
Well, that was a long time ago. I thought Indiana was favored against Michigan there. I guess not. Voice of College Football said, I just read in the early 70s, Vegas has points for around 15 to 20 college football games per week. I didn't even know it was that long ago. I thought it'd be like the 80s. Well, we've had betting odds for a long time then. Appreciate that update, Mark. That's crazy. Wow.
All right. So, yeah, Iowa State.
The link. Jackson's got the link right there. At tomorrow, definitely going to be a fun time. Me and TJ tomorrow night on the Indiana channel. And then also me and John will be doing, and TJ will be doing the on the Michigan channel as well. It's going to be a fun show.
Mm-hmm. Iowa State, Kansas. Will Iowa State have that hangover after losing?
That spread, man. Iowa State is no respect. No respect at all. I mean, they're favored by 3 against Kansas. I mean, I never thought Iowa State was legit. I never did. But that's an embarrassing spread. To be ranked at 17 and you're 7-1 and you're favored by 3 against – I mean, I know Kansas had some close games, but I think Iowa State will win 31-24. Kansas has been a disaster, so I think they'll keep it close because like Scotty B said, Kansas lost a lot of close games. I agree. They'll keep it close, but they'll lose. And then their bowl eligibility's done.
Kansas is Jackson's favorite team. I mean, Kansas has been close. Can they pull it off? I don't think so. I'll go Iowa State to win. I'll go 28-24 Iowa State. I think it'll be close, but I think they'll pull it.
Yeah, Kansas is Jackson, kind of like how Indiana, yeah, it is to me, but lesser extent, obviously, because his favorite team's Alabama. But yeah, he really liked Kansas, especially Leipold. But you went Iowa State too, right? Yeah, okay.
And then we have Duke NC State. This is a fun game.
Mark says, I'm just kidding, Jeffrey. Signetti and IU have been amazing. They've been consistently strong. No one else in the Big Ten has played a complete game every week. Remarkable. It is. I'm blown away. I never would have expected them to be this good. It's crazy. I just hope it continues. And I just hope Signetti don't leave. I'm enjoying it. I really am.
NC State's offense has just been not great this year. Manny Diaz, decent. Has done a decent job. But
I think NC State wins this game 28-24. I don't think Duke's that good. I know NC State isn't either, but Duke's really
I'll say if Malik Murphy doesn't turn the ball over, I think they'll win.
He's like Aiden Childs, but a little bit less turnover prone.
I'll give it to Duke. Why not? I'll clash with you here. I'll go 31-24 Duke.
This is our first game that we disagreed on, right?
Mm-hmm.
We usually agree. I mean, I got to spice it up a little bit. But, yeah, it's a 50-50 game. Mark says Jalen Daniels, bad season, 11 touchdowns, 9 picks. It's been really bad. All of his draft stock's in the floor.
Mm-hmm. It's a shame.
Did it?
Oh, here we go. Colorado, Texas Tech.
Colorado at Tech. This is a game right here, man.
This is a fun one.
Tech's got an offense, and Colorado does too. The problem is, like, who's better on defense? Colorado?
I guess Colorado, which I did not think I would be saying at this point of the season.
Tech's defense is pretty rough, but they did hold Iowa State to 22. But they gave up 51 to Abilene, but that was earlier in the year, and they gave 59 to Baylor.
I just think this is a game where Shedeur just shows off.
I'll go Colorado 35-30.
This is just such a good game for Shedeur.
35-34 Colorado.
This is a Shedeur showcase game right here. I'll go 42-24 Buffaloes.
I think this game's going to go down to the wire. I think Colorado survives. You're not an idiot, Jackson. Everybody makes a bad pick. I mean, I thought Kansas would be pretty good too. You're good, man. You're good.
Mm-hmm. South Carolina against Vanderbilt.
See, this is what I'm talking about. This game's in the SEC network, right? Because, it's Vanderbilt. No one cares, right? And realistically, it should maybe be on a better network. It's a pretty good game. Yeah, like Mark even said KU 8-4. I think I had him going 8-4 too. Me and Mark were on the same page. I think I had Kansas going 8-4. Like, no one thought they were going to be that bad. Absolutely not. I don't know, man. I think Vanderbilt is all right. I mean, for their standards, they're fantastic. But South Carolina, I don't know, though. I mean, they're coming off a big win. Will they kind of pull what A&M just did, get a big win and then choke? I mean, Vandy just got a big win too, but Auburn really is garbage. So, what do you think? And you want to talk about not having a home environment? Vandy doesn't have a home environment, okay? They have no home environment.
They unfortunately do not have a home environment. I don't think South Carolina is going to travel that much, though. So maybe it'll be a little better environment. Although South Carolina is kind of close to Vanderbilt, though.
Few hours, like 3, 4. Yeah.
Yeah. I want to take Vandy. I want to pick Vanderbilt, but the D-line does scare me. But Pavia's going to have to make some nice throws. I can't pick. I don't think I've picked Vandy at all this year, but I'm still going to pick. I'll pick the Gamecocks.
Yeah, we picked them last week.
24-20. Oh, we did pick them last week.
Yeah, we picked them last week. I mean, we didn't pick them against Bama or Texas or anything. Of course not. We picked them against Auburn. I don't know, man. I mean, I think Vanderbilt could win, but I think South Carolina is the better team. But the thing is like, so is Bama. That doesn't matter at the end of the day. It doesn't matter. The better team doesn't always win. That's why we watch these daggum games. But I don't know. South Carolina 31-28. I think they win. I don't know. South Carolina, I don't trust them either, though, because until A&M, they really have blown games. They blew Alabama. They blew LSU. They blew both those games. So, I mean.
What was their other loss?
I can't remember. I honestly can't remember their other loss. I just know they lost to Alabama and LSU by.
I know those. Yeah. Ole Miss. Oh, that was their one bad game.
Did they get destroyed in that game?
27-3.
Oh, yeah, okay. I guess South Carolina. I'll stick with South Carolina.
Maryland, Oregon. Do we even want to pick Maryland?
Oregon, big.
Yeah, Tennessee big.
Okay, UCF, Arizona State.
I mean,
Think UCF
Mississippi
follows
State
it
gave
up?
up. I mean, Mississippi State gave up 20 against UMass. Come on. Yeah.
Yeah, and Georgia let him score 31.
Mm-hmm.
41-31.
Arizona State,
You think
UCF. I'm gonna
UCF
go.
will follow it up, or do you think they'll fall back to being
They'll
terrible?
fall back. They're UCF. They'll fall back. I'll
I think
go.
the thing is, I think UCF's actually like got more quality players, but they're just inconsistent.
Yeah, I'll go 31-14.
I'll
ASU.
go 28-21 Arizona State. I think, like I said, I think actually UCF is the more talented team, but like I said, that doesn't matter. So I'll go Arizona State. I think TCU wins too.
Yeah, TCU wins. All right.
Okay. Yeah. Bama, LSU.
Oh. I do not like picking Brian
I know
Kelly
you
in
hate
big
BK.
games.
You hate Burger King.
It's gonna pay me to say it. I have to pick LSU.
No.
I'm sorry, Jeffrey.
No.
I just don't
Come on, man.
I'm sorry.
No.
How
can you hate Brian Kelly but pick LSU?
I think LSU is the better football team this season than Alabama, from what they've shown.
Ugh. Oh my goodness, Will. Come on.
I'm sorry. What's this? What's the 58.5? Final score. We should, Mark.
Mark says you guys keep your records.
We wanted to do that.
I have not, and I should. But I have kept my NFL record this season. My NFL record so far, I'm 81-42 right now. Not counting this week. I have to tally my record this week, but I'm 81-42 through the first 8 weeks. Not the spread. I'm not doing the spread. If I was doing the spread, it'd be a lot worse. But 81-42 straight up, it's not bad. I should keep, at least for the big games, I should keep records of these. I know I'm over 60%, though. I could feel that straight up. But with the spread, you do way better than with the spread than me. I'm terrible with the spread. A lot of times I just pick a random score. So I don't really do all the analytics to do it. So
I'll go.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Hummus here. 81-42. I was blown away that I'm like, that's my NFL record. Way better than last year. So it's crazy.
I'll go 35-31 LSU. I think it'll be high scoring. But I just don't trust Bama's defense at all.
I mean, what people are mixed. Scotty's saying LSU. Steven's saying LSU. Jackson's going Alabama. The problem is, and I agree, like Scotty said, Baton Rouge at night is a different animal. It is. It is. Mark says I'm 133-49 straight up in college football. Man. Yeah, my record is not that good. I would next year if we do live streams next year again, Will, maybe we can keep our records.
Yeah.
For at least the big games. I don't know what games we can quantify because it would be hard if you're doing like every freaking game, like even the little games. But like the games we pick, the bigger games, that would be crazy. I know it wouldn't be as good as that. That's very impressive, Mark. That is a fantastic record. Fantastic. That's why Mark's the voice of college football for a reason. Man, the thing is, this is a heart versus head thing, man. I want Bama to win. I want
them to win too, but I just do not trust their defense at all, especially in that.
Garrett Nussmeier is very turnover prone, though. Underrated.
I don't trust them enough to force the turnovers, man. Like,
the thing is Alabama ran the football against Missouri. Can they run the football against LSU? Can they run the football?
I mean, they should. That's why I had Bama scoring 31. But I just don't think they can stop LSU.
LSU 31-28, whatever.
I mean,
it is what it is.
I mean,
I
Bama.
don't want it, man.
If Bama goes 10-2, would have gone 10-2 with losing this game and losing Tennessee. That's not bad. It's just that Vandy loss is brutal.
They shouldn't have lost to Vandy. The thing is, if you watch that game, Vanderbilt literally had a 4th and 1 that they got a touchdown on. And Milroe made a couple stupid mistakes in that game. Bama should not have lost that game. Like, Auburn's just trash. Okay, Auburn's just trash. Bama should not have lost. I already know. Fine, whatever. You know it as well as I do, okay? Bama should not have lost to Vandy. They lost. It is what it is, but they shouldn't have lost, okay? That's the thing. There's a difference between they suck versus they shouldn't have lost. Bama should not have lost. Alabama, I think, can win this game, but they haven't been reliable enough. They lost at Tennessee, and the thing is Tennessee and LSU are very comparable teams. LSU, though, just got waxed by A&M. So, honestly, they're not great either. You know, they're not an elite team, but they're at home, and sometimes that's enough.
Now, I don't know who the heck to pick in this Oklahoma-Missouri game.
Missouri? If Brady Cook's back, is he back?
All right.
Because if he's not back, then maybe Oklahoma. But if Brady Cook's back, then Missouri. You got to go Missouri.
Will Brady Cook play on 3? Oh, I need a. This is a paid article. It's annoying.
Hard to get information sometimes, man. Especially early in the week. We're doing it on Monday, right? Like a lot of times you get more information later in the week.
Absolutely expect starting quarterback Brady Cook to return at some point.
Some point?
Thanks, Eli.
I agree with this comment here by Hummus. I think any of the top 6 in the SEC can beat each other on a good day. Yeah, I mean, if you play well or not. I mean, I think Texas could beat Georgia if Texas played better.
Oh.
So we don't know.
Expected to return. We don't know.
What do you think then? Because, I mean, if Brady Cook doesn't play, Drew Pond is bad. Okay? Drew Pond is bad. Man. You know better than anyone how bad he is. Okay? He is bad. And Notre Dame, like you said, went 8-4 with the guy. Somehow.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
What a crappy game.
If he was playing, then I would go Mizzou. But he's not certain to play. So how are you even supposed to pick? Oklahoma stinks.
I'm going to give it to ChatGPT. I'm going to let ChatGPT say it.
ChatGPT? Why are we going the ChatGPT route here? Will can't even pick with his brain.
I'm too tired. Will Brady Cook play against Oklahoma?
Like, so ChatGPT would know better than a human? What? Hummus Hero says, I've had enough with the Drew Pond slander. He's a very serviceable QB. Where are you getting this, Hummus? Drew Pond's terrible. Isn't he terrible, Will?
He's not good.
He sucks. Oh, my gosh.
Well, I got to know. I said it told me to look at Missouri's website for updates. So thanks, ChatGPT, for that.
Okay, ChatGPT is more useless than I thought. Great. Voice of
All right, I'm picking Oklahoma to win.
Is legit.
I'm picking Oklahoma to win 21-17.
Mark saying the defense is legit. Jackson flipped the coin.
Defense is good, but man, their offense was bad.
I guess Oklahoma 21-17. I would have gone Missouri easily with Brady Cook.
No, I think that Washington might win this game if it was in Seattle. They're not winning in a whiteout.
Oh, by the way, yes. Yeah, if it was at Washington, I would very well consider picking Washington. Maybe. I probably would. Honestly, I probably would. But I'm going Penn State. 31-17. They'll win. They're at home.
I'll go 38-24. I don't know. That might be too many points, but I'll pick Penn State. Boise should beat Nevada. Pitt should beat Virginia. I mean, Virginia's been falling apart, so
they should beat Virginia. I'll go 28-21.
Oh, we have the Holy War.
Oh yeah, baby, Holy War. Love it. BYU at Utah, and boy, oh boy, am I feel bad for Utah fans right now. Lord, they're bad. I mean, Cam Rising, that is just a mess. Now he's still out, right? I mean, he's not back.
No,
forever.
He's done.
I mean, did he retire? Did he? Was he one of the ones that retired? Because I might have posted something on that. Honestly, I can't remember. My brain there's so much stuff going on. Did he retire?
I'm gonna ask ChatGPT. Did Cam Rising retire?
I can't remember. He might have retired. Honestly, I think he might have.
Oh, that's as of October 2023. That doesn't help. Okay, Cam Rising.
I can't remember. He might have. I don't know.
Future unknown. So not yet.
Okay. Yeah, he wasn't one of the ones that retired. Thought maybe for a second he did, but he didn't. Yeah, because like Tuttle retired, Grayson McCall retired. Jackson says he did retire. Yes, Cam Rising retired. Did he retire, though? Because when I looked it up, it said his future was unknown, too.
It doesn't say it.
I know McCall and Tuttle retired. Jack Tuttle, that's not surprising at all. Grayson McCall, that's sad.
Shout out to Tanner Wall, though. Tanner Wall went to my high school. Good guy. Starts at safety for BYU. So he's having a good year. Cool. Happy for Tanner.
The thing is, I don't think BYU is as good of a team as Indiana. I don't. Mm-hmm. They're better than Pitt. They might be better than Iowa State, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Oh, he's captaining this year. I didn't know Tanner was captaining this year. Dang.
Do you think BYU can win a night game at Rice-Eccles, though?
I don't think Utah's offense is very good.
Because, I mean, that is a different environment. But, I mean, yeah, their offense is pretty brutal. Didn't Houston beat them, right?
Houston beat Kansas State, yeah.
But didn't Houston beat Utah as well?
They probably did.
I think they did. I remember it. Let me look. Houston football.
Yes.
Yeah. I remember. It was a couple weeks ago. If Cam Rising was healthy, then yeah, I would go. Utah, man. Because I mean, you don't pick against Utah at Rice-Eccles when they're good, but things are trending down for Utah, and I do think Whittingham's going to retire soon. I really feel it, especially if things keep trending down. I guess I'll go BYU 34. 31-17. I think it will be really close, and I think BYU will pull away in the fourth because Utah won't be able to keep up. It's a shame. I really like Utah. I really like Utah, but they're just not the same team anymore without him.
Yeah, I'm going 28-17 BYU. Like, Utah's offense just isn't great. Zach Wilson's brother's been struggling.
Yeah.
I haven't watched
Utah
lately. So, yeah.
It's a shame. Because, I mean, they were a really fun team to watch the past few years. But they're pretty brutal.
Well, that was an eventful show. A lot of debating between you and
I love the debates. The Ohio State guys in chat, all you guys. Mark, too. I'm glad Mark came. Appreciate it. All you guys are awesome. Love you, Hummus, Troy V, and Steven. You guys are awesome. You guys debate with me sometimes on Twitter, especially you, Steven. But I love it. It's all in good fun. I have fun,
Mhm.
debating with college football, and I'm looking forward to a great week. Hopefully, Indiana wins. I'm hoping Bama wins. My Lord, I'm nervous for both games. More about Bama though, because their season's over if they don't win. They
Mhm.
lose, they're not making the playoff. And as Bama fans keep saying, we could get in with 3 losses. No, we're not. Alabama's not getting in with 3 losses. They're not. They're not getting in the playoff. They have to beat LSU to make the playoff. If they don't, they're done. So it is what it is. Well, hopefully they play well, and hopefully Carolina, keeps doing well also, citing that they're kind of turning it around a little bit. Play well last week. But do appreciate all you guys for being here. If you're new, like the stream down below. I'm sure all you guys, are have probably already done it. But if you haven't liked the stream, if you're new, subscribe to the channel or Will's channel if you're watching over on Will's channel as well. WillND trying to get his subs up as well. Definitely appreciate it wherever you're watching. But definitely tune in tomorrow, 7 o'clock. Indiana at the Voice of College Football for me and TJ. Going to be talking about the Indiana-Michigan game, and then the Michigan channel at the Voice of College Football. Me and John and TJ will be talking about the game again. And then also me and Jackson Thursday nights, Bama call-in show. You want to talk Bama LSU? You want to call in to one of the only call-in shows, I'm sure, for Alabama football. Alabama LSU at Alabama Voice of College
Thanks,
Football.
Steven.
Me and Jackson will be doing that. And then Steve is going out with a bang saying Florida State over Notre Dame. Yeah, that would be just sad. That would be sad. That'd be more sad than Northern Illinois, honestly.
Yeah.
It would be more sad. And appreciate again, Jackson, for your super chat. Always appreciate it. Appreciate you for stopping by like you usually do. Appreciate it a lot. And thanks everybody else for being here as well. Me and Will will try to be back next weekend to do this again. Whether it's on Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday night, definitely we'll have to see what day we're able to do it. Hopefully we can. But thanks everybody for being here. And go Hoosiers, roll Tide, go
Irish, and
go Irish for Will.
Hopefully Hugh Freeze gets fired.
Yes. Well, maybe not, though. Auburn will continue to suck then.